Hello, everybody. This is Mary from Pangerbon Gaming, and today we're at Boston Airport. Now, this time I had a big vision for Boston Airport, and well, here we are. I decided, well, I'm not doing a Minuteman setup again, but I did a Natum Cats setup, and they work with the Minutemen. So here are some of our Atom Cats. They're the scavenger guys, and they're just heading off to do their job. And so my vision when I think of the Atom Cats is a red rocket. So yes, through console commands, with a lot of console commands I've used in this game, I spawned in a red rocket. And I'll explain all that to you when we get there. Have I extended it?
If you ain't been up to see Grey Garden, you should go.
Not really. I'll explain that to you as well. So I wanted to add some trees to give this sort of overgrown effect as you're walking up to the settlement. And it looks fabulous at night as well. As they're just talking in my ear all the time here right now. So yes, I originally had this character. I decided I would join every faction except the Institute. So yes, while I sort of joined the Brotherhood of Steel, I really did no missions with them except for the first one with Dance. And then I spoke to Kells and I was up on the grid one. And so at that point I could use Boston Airport. And I had this vision of doing it because if you look up Boston International Airport, of course, not this section in general of it, there is a glass ceiling. And I had this vision I wanted to have a glass ceiling in it and that. And then I was told to go up and meet everybody on the grid one. And well, I did that. And when I got to Tegan, I just couldn't take it anymore. So yeah, I got rid of them all on the Prid one, and then they started to attack me from the airport. Got rid of all them too. Being a sniper is a great way to play this game. And then I went to Cambridge Police Station, and I got rid of all of them. And that was before I even went near the Institute. Got rid of the Institute. So the day I got rid of the Institute was the day we got rid of the Prid one. So yeah. I forgot about this thing. So I was building a spectacle, and there's a huge issue with the middle of spectacles. So I got that sorted, but I said I'm going to move over to something else just till I think of something else for spectacle. So I went over here, and then I said I'm going to give it to the Atom Cats. And I wanted to get a red rocket in here. So yes, I got the console commands, and after doing a lot of research on console commands, etc., and with the help of Google AI, I got the proper console command to bring this in. When you bring it in, you have no roof. You have what looks like a ceiling when you walk into it, but when you're above it, you can see right through it. So the ceiling is not really there. So I had to build a roof, and because the red rocket is graduated, I built a graduated hodgepodge roof. Now, in this section over here is basically this thing here, I think it's in here, an outdoor encampment flag, which gives you a campsite for the Minutemen. You can put it anywhere. And I built this after I finished the settlement, so it bleeds in to the settlement. And there's nobody living here. I'll go over here just so you can see I'll go in here. Just so you can see, there's nobody living here. So it has 3 water, 100 power, 23 defense. I put it here for a reason, because I wanted, as I said, the main airport to bleed into it. And that's how I'd recommend you use those campsites, etc., because otherwise you get very confused, especially if you're trying to set up your settlers where they're supposed to stand, etc., what they're supposed to be working at. They will get confused because, as I said, there's technically 2 settlements bleeding into each other, all right? So this is the red rocket. Now, I had to spawn this whole thing in. I had the roof already built, and I said, well, I need to spawn this thing in. So I had to stand in certain position of this settlement. It took me and make a hard save if you're going to do this. I had to stand in a certain position in third person to get this in the right position. Now, obviously, there are these type of bollards things that are around here as well. They sort of are inside some of this, but I sort of compensated for that. With this, the campsite over there came from the survivalist toolbox. This is the residence toolbox. This is an Atom Cat sentry. So I have 3 of them in here. So here we have our red rocket, and I actually have food in here from the gardener's toolbox. Now, while I have food and the food is produced, I have yet to see a settler actually doing the animation of gardening. So usually, as I said, you have to fast travel out, fast travel in to get these things to bloom. They were blooming last night, but they're not blooming right now. I don't mind. You get the idea. These are artificial, sort of like just flowers I put in here for aesthetic and overgrown ideas, etc. And yes, spawned in an Atom Cat's trader from, I'll show you that now, if I'm in the right settlement, that is. See, now I'm in the other settlement, but it doesn't really matter, just to show you what I'm talking about. So if you want, in here, of course, obviously in stores, I will have everything. Let's say, for instance, because I'm in the other settlement, say, for instance, now I want to get the red rocket trader. I have a red rocket trader. I decided I'm putting that in. I'm hoping there was, and there is, an Atom Cat trader. So I put one of them in. Now, in the fence here, you'll have guard posts. So in here, you have the Child of Atom, etc., a Minutemen sentry, Atom Cats. So there's 3 of them in here. All right, just so you know that. Now, I spawned in, through console commands, 3 or 4 of these scavenging stations because I needed my people to be doing something. So I've gone about 30 bill caps on this. So yeah, if you still have the Prid one, I do not advise that because the Prid one has its own issues with all the lighting and everything else that's going on with the Prid one above you. But I don't have the Prid one. So yeah, I got away with it, but at the same time, it's a bit overly done with 30 bill caps. But as I said before, this is not meant to be a settlement. This is only for building particle crime. So around here, we're selling the hot rodders. And yes, I use console commands to get all of these in. While I own the original comics, I wanted something to put here. So one thing I always noted in a red rocket, your people have an awful lot of difficulty sitting around these windows. So I just put 2 chairs facing this way, and I wanted to go with the red here because I have the Atom Cat set as well. And this is probably the best thing. The Nuka-Cola stand. Now let me explain about this thing. The Nuka-Cola stand in Nuka World, you'll see it displayed in several other places in Nuka World. This was meant to be in the game for your settlements, but the devs forgot to put it in. So I got the console command for that. Now the thing about this is it works very much. Let me see if I can get to it. Transfer. No, don't take out the gun there. We'll stop doing that. Over here. I just need to be able to hit it at a certain angle.
Back hurts. My feet hurt.
There. Okay. So you can put these into this, and when you put them in, they display like this. The only thing about this is you can only set it on the floor, or you can set it onto a rug, like I have done, and glitch it into the countertop. But at least these things are static. So that's a bonus. So, as I said, I have loads of these things in here as well. I was going to put doors on it, but I decided not to. I thought it looked better without the doors in many ways because technically there's no ceiling. While this section allowed me place lights like that, I cannot place ceiling lights. So, oh, here we go. This is the Atom Cat's pillow. I'll just drop it back down there. And because these things came into it, I use this just as a storage area. So this is sort of our kitchen. I was going to add more items, but as I said, there's a huge amount of prey rate drops in this settlement as there is. So I'm not walking very slowly. So around here, more of this, as I said, bled in here from the actual thing. Now, some of these can be removed through console commands. These ones cannot though. And I placed our trader thing on the very edge of the airport settlement, facing into that section. Okay? Facing into that section. So, because I had intended to build this just as a continuation. So we have that. I put a sink in here, just an ordinary bathroom, toilet, and I put a few things down here. So that's just the edge of that. And you can see the frame rate drops. A little trash can. I don't mind her at all. Now, there's a huge amount of space down here because I have a load of dogs and I have even more cats. And this area is a huge area for them to walk around. So while I put food here and that, these piles of dirt are very annoying. Even trying to sink things in, it sort of prevents you from doing that. But I left this huge open space because when the dogs switch themselves around, they do spend an awful lot of time up around this area. Now, this belongs to the Atom Cat's trader. And you will see briefly there that if I go into transfer, while everything looks all right, I will be deemed as stealing everything from that. But I thought it looked cool that's just standing there like that. So, yeah. So, as I said, I put her in. There's Daniel. And I put a sloping Joe. I made that into a sloping Joe. And for that ceiling, which I'll get to, the roof, I put in these to give lights. And they're all dressed as Atom Cats. I didn't give him the wig because I thought his hair looked okay if it was. So I put these things out here. And as I said, around here, as I said, there's loads of cats and dogs in here. So I was going to get a couple of cars and bring them in until I realized, well, hold on a minute, because 2 or 3 raiders keep walking up and down here and there's a lot of shooting going on. I said, well, if one of them blows up, I'm going to end up with a dud anyway. So I said, no, I'll put a bus in. So I just turned this into just a very small 2 beds. And I think she's my trader, is she?
Yeah.
No, she's one of the settlers. Yeah, that's one of the girls. As I said, because I'm recording and I'm on high settings, they're all just standing still. This is just a workstation here. And I have more dogs here. And this is where we have our water. Now, as I explained before, you can place water as long as you have the corner over here. I'll just hurry over here so you can see it. This place here, put your water down here. Do not connect it to any wires, electricity or anything. Get a pillar. I usually use the concrete pillar. I find it the best one. And hold A or whatever is your action key. And then you can place water anywhere you want in any settlement. I've explained that in a video about how to get water into the mechanist layer. So there's 30 water in here. So, and the cats keep opening this door as well. So, I just put a few odds and ends.
Just put up everything you got and let's see if we can make
Yeah, there's the Atom Cat trader. You can buy everything from her that you require. Oh, and probably now she hasn't got a lot. Yeah, so I've invested with her. So you can buy all these items from her. The the power armor, the pompadour wig, the ratty skirts, the sunglasses, and then she has all these items. Now that's from the residence toolbox. And again, we're selling more of these items here. I put in that for, well, just to put something in there. This area here was very weird, right in, because you can't build up against this wall. I had to put in a false wall. So I put a couple of pallets down here and placed the famed jukebox here. And because of the residence toolbox in this section, I do have a restaurant. Now I will show you that I don't want to gain degrees on me. So obviously the restrictions here are huge. So when it comes to stores, as you can see, I have Slocum's Joe the last time. I have, this is a restaurant, a tier 3 restaurant. Where a clinic is concerned, all I have is this thing, and that comes from the Boston bottles. But if I go to Trader here, I could even bring people like this in to trade medical supplies, a weapon trader. I think there's, where is she now? Did I pass her by? There's the trader. Of course, you can have a children atom trader, a Minuteman trader, all that type of thing. But as I said, I have 18 people in here at the moment. So I placed a brand new bar along here using the Atom Cat set from a Paid For Creation, which is in red. And I placed him in here. And again, I've used 2 of these. What's in my way? Yes. 2 of the Nuka-Cola, what you call them? Counters, little things for holding it, and I fixed them in there. Now, the Atom Cats do have a fridge, but the only problem is with it, you attach the door to it as a separate piece. So when everybody passes by the fridge, the door stays wide open. So I put one of these in instead. Of course, in here is where we have our workshop, and I placed the bedroom in here. Again, frame rate drops. All right, so there's a load of cats and dogs in here. This is another workstation here. I put another power armor set in here. So I had to keep hopping between Diamond City to get the power armor frames and all that. Now, originally, I had a Brahmin in here. And everything was going grand with the Brahmin. It's usually where I put my Brahmin. But when she left that here, the Brahmin got very worked up, and I mean really oddly worked up. It wasn't one that I, spawned in through a cage, which you can do here. It was one that I placed through the workshop, through the residence toolbox, and they're usually very calm. So instead of it just staying there, it started to spawn out originally out to here. And I put it back inside with the workshop, and then it started to spawn up to here, on top of this thing. And I said, no, I can't have that anymore. So I just stored the thing, and I put more dog kennels down here. But what I did discover, there's a problem in this section, because when I went to place the Brahmin back here, the Brahmin wouldn't stand. So go there after it originally did. I don't know what's going on, guys. And no dog has come into these kennels. So yeah, there's a problem. Now, as I said to you before in the previous one I've done of this settlement, well, as I said, it's not really a settlement. You need to disable this door with console commands, because your settler will walk in here. Also, take everything out of here that you can take out of here as well, because if you pick something up by mistake, you will be deemed as stealing it. This door cannot be disabled. Behind that, I have my water. But your settlers do come in here. But I've noticed since I have the scavenging stations, a lot of my settlers come through here for some reason. I don't know whether they get through here and they come out on the other side. So, yeah, they will come through here. So they do use this area. So I have to slow down. Okay. So that would be the ground floor. Now, as I said, and first of all, we will go and have a look at this. We know that there's a graduation on the red rocket. So when you're looking up at this is all just hodgepodge together, which I think makes it look a bit better, to be truthful. So if I go this way, you can see I have graduation is all up at steps of stairs. But down here, and yes, I have these guys as well from the residence toolbox. Put these in. So I've just made very sparse bedrooms. I don't really care how the bedrooms look. If you go to the Atom Cats, they aren't exactly packed out with items, but I couldn't do much more with it, because at the end of the day, I've gone way over the build limit. Yet, funnily enough, the red rocket didn't cause any extra weight technically on that build limit, but it's a very tiny build bar. So up here, I just put chairs, a few things I could sit around, put a table, radios, and over here, I just decided I needed more beds, so I placed this in here as well. Now there's two ways around to the next section. You can go up this way to it. And so I covered it all in. And up here, we have another bar. And I've used these guys again.
Hard work.
So yes, this is the bubble pop cola, but it doesn't matter what it is. It's just a counter. So I placed him there, and I just used these barrels basically as tables. So you can see how and actually this spawned in brilliantly. I only had to take out a square. It went through the glass, but I took out the square just so it looked as if it fitted in. So if you go down here, I wanted to put a pool table in here. There's more power armor. There's another bedroom. Go up here. And there's just another smaller bedroom looking on with the glass ceiling. Go back down here. Now, because of the red rocket, as you can see, I can go under here, settlers cannot. So I wanted to put some of the neons up around here and place a load of sort of junk in this area. And then what I did to make sure that these 16 pool balls do not go missing, I glitched a rug inside this table. And I did that before I brought it up here. So this is our pool area. And we have our pool cues hanging up here. I was going to put them there, and I said, no, they'll probably end up being moved. And I placed chalk on each side. They sit around here. Now, if you want to know, she is Rowdy Duplicate. How do you get these people? Again, in the residence toolbox, if you go into normal things here, like special, just keep going. I have a duplicate of Nate, Nora, Sean, Kate, Dance, Deacon, Hancock, Nick Valentine, Piper, Desdemona, Elder Maxon, Father, Kellogg. And these all bring happiness. Magnolia, and I have Rowdy. She doesn't speak. None of them do. There's Tinker Tom. There's a load of them in here. And of course there's Gary. Most of you who've played Fallout will know what that means. Now she's sort of a bit stuck right now, and she's been doing this sort of the last couple of minutes. So I'm going to put her over here. That's there. And now she doesn't speak to you. It doesn't matter. She doesn't speak. But she's just in here. She's having a look at the new Atom Cats area. And then down here I have one guy on our defense. So he can come up this way from down there. And then he walks right around. I think is that our that's our trader. And he comes around here. Now he's probably glitched out. No, he's still there. Alright, so we can walk down this way as well. As I said, there's 3 ways up. We have 2 guards here. And then we can walk out here to what I'm calling this just ordinary encampment, because it bleeds into this. I put food down. There's nobody living here. It just is for looks. That's about it. So I put this warehouse. The door will always be open. And I put some of these slot machines in. So your settlers do come out here to use them. Okay? So try and make this look like as if we were doing something. I put a load of these little things that we're going to get stuff off these old vehicles. And well, this truck can be scrapped. I don't want it scrapped. One of the purposes of this whole thing was because of that truck. And go down here and go this far. So yes, you can get a lot out of these settlements, because even if I open that right now, there's hardly anything built. So yeah, so as I said, there's nobody in here. No, I don't want to remove that. So there's nobody in here. As I said, it's just to fill out the area. And of course I'm getting enough frame rate problems because of the other settlement around it. And then around here, just to bring us on to this. And yes, I put one of these here. And as I said, it looks as if the whole thing feeds on to each other. And I just put like one bed here, like for a Minuteman. Possibly me. And a little dog bed here for a kennel for dog meat. Now, these two characters here belonging to the settlement, but they were spawned in. One is a
Yes.
Minuteman and the other is a pillar of the community. I needed two people in there, so when I was testing different things to do with what you call it, putting down the bars and everything, because it's a bit awkward when you're putting down those bar mats. They actually stood on them, and I realised that that's not turned the right way round. So yeah, so I left them there because it looks good having a Minuteman. And the pillar of the community guy, this one I got, he has a construction hat on him, so a hard hat on him. So I said, well, that looks good when we're building. So as you can see, yeah, there's a ghost on this. So an awful lot of frame rates up. So I'm going to give a quick fly around of this now. And by the way, I did not put that there. That is part of the Boston Barrel. It's a pre-war stash. So if you're looking for one, it's right here at the Boston airport. So what time is it now in the day? Well, it's almost evening, actually. So
I got work to do. Can't talk now.
yeah, so they're all walking around in their Atom Cats stuff. And I placed some trees out here. And I probably could have gone a lot further with this because, yes, I could get onto this bus. So I've added lights to it. I've shoved that in there to make it look as if it was pre-war and that. So then you walk around here. And this would be
Work, you eat.
our other entrance into the Red Rocket Terminal. So yeah, they're just there. So it's we're very safe. And of course you're rarely attacked here, guys, if any. As I said, I've met through 2 or 3 raiders coming along here. Usually, and this is the car that got destroyed at the battle with them when I was up on the Red one. Yeah, you'll get a couple of raiders walking up around here as well, or just walking down around this way. But I just wanted to look as if it was beginning to grow over. Because it never has made sense to me that we have green leaves on foods and the grass is still scorched out. But yeah, so the thing is, I decided the trees make it look a little bit different. You can hide a lot between trees. This old building, though, is also interesting to me to put a light into it. And that. So yeah, so there's 100 power there. There's really no need for 100 power, but I wanted to have an excuse for this thing. To put a warehouse in here. And the flag is the actual encampment there. Okay, so you can workshop there, you plant there. But as I said, the two of them bleed into each other. So what I'm going to do now, guys, I'm going to sit down for nighttime. And then we'll do a fly around. So, okay, guys, I'm doing a fly around now at night. So I'll go down a little bit lower so you can have a look to see what this looks like if you're coming towards it. And I think it looks much better with the sort of the extension onto it. But as I said, I have not extended the settlement. So the red rocket is quite visible. And I did make an Atom Cats sign out of the small square lights because they only require electricity. The large ones actually require 1 electricity for each light. So yeah, so over here is their attachments there, and they're on the small generators. And yeah, there's always somebody on a roof. So this is just for the spotlight here. So I think the spotlight and everything give it a bit of extra character as well. I have a spotlight around here on this section. As I said, they will go on there. They're on the pier there that I built. So yeah, they will come out here. And now I had 3 of these traders in here the other day, and they were all around here, the Brahmin. So I'd probably put some of them in here as well. Now, does it give happiness in there? I don't know. That's being straight about it. I don't. Because there's no happiness in here because there's no settlers. So that's what this area looks like. So if you're coming down from this way, you see sort of this whole area. And of course, that house looks great, sort of the old house lit up as well. And there's something about a red rocket. I don't care. There's something about a red rocket. It sort of makes it look, it's not like the airport. We know that that's over there, but it sort of fits in. I like it. And then around this area here are openings. And I like the effects that the spotlights give, like the shadow, the light. Now they change around. Tonight they're not using this one. They're over at the slot machines. As I said, here we're going to have a rat storm as well. You'll have some of them sitting up here. And then down here is their part where they live as well. Yeah, so it looks nice in the rat storms as well. So what I will do now is I'll come down from this. I'll get to first thing in the morning so you can see it down in daylight. Okay. So here we are, guys, on a nice sunny and clear morning, and we're at the airport. But what I like about it is it doesn't look like the airport. That's what I like about it. And I do like the new trees in it as well, because it sort of gives that hidden look, but you wouldn't know where it is behind a wall somewhere. And while I slept, our fruit did bloom, or yeah, it's bloomed. Here we have our carrots, etc. So yeah, so go around here. And of course, we have these fabulous billboards up here as well. And we have boats in here. Here we can say that the atom cats are also protecting for the Minutemen. Creators. And of course, these guys who really don't do
Hurts.
anything
My
in the settlement,
sure
they're just
everything
walking around. I
hurts.
really don't care what's hurting, sweetheart. Go away. Um, as we go up further,
Hope you ain't one of them synths, here to spy on me.
and what if I am? As I said, most of them do go in and out of here as well. They go in and out of here.
Out here, you gotta take things one day at a time.
can get up here.
If you work, you eat. It's as simple as that.
So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comments. But as I said, I have used a lot of console commands, and I know you have to be on PC for that. But I'm sure there's mods that can bring in the red rocket or whatever to the settlement if you're actually playing on console. But yeah, so you can do a lot of console commands, etc. But I got very lucky. It took me about an hour
Need to
to
get
place
back
the
to
red rocket
Diamond City one
because
these
of
days.
where I wanted it.
Biggest
So
move
yeah,
I
it
ever
worked
saw.
out well, and it fits in, as I said, to the idea that I had going here. So I'm quite happy with it. I like it. It's different.
Hope you ain't here for me.
Oh, there we go, guys. So on to the next time. Look after
Things keep rolling
yourselves
pretty good
and
lately.
each other. Thanks for watching. God bless.